marks Moussa Dembele retiring from the game. Obviously, he's been spoken about as the GOAT of the Tottenham midfield. Every player coming out and saying what a player he was to play with alongside in training on the football pitch. And most recently, actually, I was watching a video on YouTube with Japhet Tanganga last night, and even he said it. And I don't even remember them being in training or playing together, Tanganga.
And who?
Dembele.
I'm trying to think. He must have been a youth player. He must have been a youth player because I don't think ever been in the first team together. But obviously Tanganga made his debut in 2019, and Dembele was long gone by then.
Yeah.
But yeah, look, Moussa Dembele, he's going to be well missed by the footballing world. I know he's obviously been in China past few years, and he has said he's not retiring immediately. He's going to wait till the end of his contract to retire. But
is that end of the season?
He said he's got one more year left, so I'm guessing.
Oh, right. So he hasn't retired just yet.
No, but he said he's retiring at the end of the contract. And there's always a case of what a player he was, but also what could have been with Moussa Dembele.
Definitely.
He was an unbelievable talent. He was an incredible player. You could not get the ball off him. He was amazing off the ball and on the ball. He was the most press-resistant player I've ever seen in my life. But there's always a case of what could have been with him if he had added a little bit more to his game. He really literally could have been one of the best players in the world instead of just one of the best players in the league, which is a reality. But you have to appreciate the quality he had, and our midfield hasn't been the same since he's gone.
Yeah, and he was, as much as we say, he was the best, one of the best midfielders in the league for a time, he was nowhere near at the top for as long as he should have been. And, he came to Spurs. How old was he when he came to us under AVB?
He was about 24.
He came to us at 24 with a big reputation from Fulham. Comes in,
maybe older, 25,
scores
maybe.
On his debut straight away, was it against Norwich? And then, he didn't really proper get to grips with things under AVB. It really took for Poch to come in and really unearth his kind of qualities, and he had such big moments for us. I mean, big games against Arsenal, Man United, Juventus, just games rolling off my head. I mean, I think Real Madrid was one of them as well, where just single-handedly he would literally just grab the game by the scruff of the neck and pretty much put us in the ascendancy all on his own. I mean, the guy was an immense talent. Like you say before, you just couldn't get the ball off him in midfield. When he was in the mood, he was the best player on the park every single time.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Exactly. And teams didn't know what to do with him. And I think he allowed our better players. I think technically, in terms of shooting, passing, through balls and that kind of finishing, that kind of stuff, he wasn't the best. But what he did was he allowed us to keep the ball pretty much for 90 minutes. And it gave more space for the likes of Eriksen, Dele, Kane, Son to really flourish and be devastating in the final third, because they knew that if we lost the ball, he would get it back. And if he was being pressed, they could make a run knowing Dembele was being pressed, because they knew he was going to wriggle out of it and they would be in space every single time. And it was the perfect combination. He chipped him with a few goals, obviously, but he was never a regular goal scorer.
Near as many as he should have done.
Yeah, even because I actually think he had decent shooting ability actually for the amount of goals he scored, which was also, I felt like, a bit of a shame. But as you say, yeah, he went into his own when Pochettino got in charge. Even then, it took him a bit of time to break into the team. But once he did, he never left, and he became one of, if not the best, centre mid in the Premier League for a time before injuries caught up with him. But he was an exceptional player, an exceptional talent, and he'll be remembered for a long time around Tottenham for what he did for those few seasons under Pochettino. And I think Premier League midfielders were probably happy when he went to China, because they didn't have to deal with him anymore, because he was just a nuisance all the time. And I wish him well in retirement, and hopefully see him back in the lane at some point.
Yeah, and he never did get to play at the new stadium.
No.
He put out that tweet with that kind of mock-up image of the stadium saying, "Can't wait to play here." So come on, make it happen, guys. Make it happen. Let's bring him back. Maybe for Hugo Lloris's testimonial. I mean, he would have been here for 10 years next year, so it'd be great to see Moussa Dembele back. Look, it was always a shame because of injuries, always kind of held him back. What were your favourite Moussa Dembele moments?
Favorite Moussa Dembele moment. So the thing with Moussa Dembele was never one or like he was never that kind of player where it was just like one or two moments which really stand out. For example, like when you talk about Dele Alli, you talk about that goal against Palace, and you talk about his brace against Real Madrid. But it wasn't like but Moussa Dembele was just a completely different kind of player. It wasn't a player with like proper standout moments like that. He was all about in game, all the small things in game which add up to you winning the games. And I just thought, obviously, he had great performances. I remember Man United at Wembley when we beat them 2-0. He was absolutely fantastic in that game. And one thing as well, which also probably made us love Moussa Dembele even more, was he always seemed to have an amazing game against Arsenal. Yeah. He always seemed to step up against Arsenal, always dominated that midfield. And I remember once at the Emirates, like he won a penalty, like went through like 3-4 players and won a penalty and we got a draw. I remember loads of times against Arsenal where he was just dominating the centre of the park. I remember against Jack Wilshere one year where Wilshere didn't even get a sniff. He was just completely dominant.
It's funny you mentioned Jack Wilshere because I was actually watching an interview with him the other day. They asked him who the hardest player you ever played against was, and he said Moussa Dembele.
Well, there you go. That shows it. So he was just a player for all games, not just moments. He was not a moments player, but didn't take away from his unbelievable ability. And it was amazing to watch as well when you're watching him live. Like he was unbelievable. The way he just shoves people off. As people used to say, he was like a ballerina, but he was like so strong. He would be fleet of foot. He would like swerve past people, but also if someone came to try and bully him off the ball, he'd just shove them away like they were nothing. Yeah. It was like a bull and a ballerina at the same time. It was incredible.
Footwork was just second to none. Footwork and strength to match it. I mean, what a player. And the one game that really stands out in my mind, obviously Battle of the Bridge, where obviously he tried to gouge out Diego Costa's eyes, which was funny, I guess. But I think that whole game really encapsulated that. But that Juventus game, when we were 2-0 down and got it back to 2-2, I mean, we were there in Italy, and what a performance that was.
Yeah.
What a performance, man. And to be honest, that wasn't even his best performance because he put in carbon copies of those performances time and time again in the big games. He was very much a big game player.
Yeah,
very much a big game player.
And it's just a shame. Who knows? Look, all the players say, who knows what could have been if he was still at Spurs when we got to the Champions League final. Yeah. That's what
Trippier says it.
Yeah, Trippier says it a lot. I mean, look, but if Trippier's saying it, it must have been a feeling around the dressing room. He doesn't just say that in isolation. So, as much as I understand why he was sold, a big part of me still thinks if he was there in the final, who knows what could have been. I'm not saying we would have won, but you just never know. Definitely our chances would have been better. And so again, it's another thing like what could have been with Dembele with his talent and with his time at Tottenham. But he looked at the end of the day, he did want to leave, and we got money for him, and that happened. But who knows if he just stayed another 6 months, he could have been a Champions League winner.
Maybe. But look, that's that. We'd like to thank Moussa Dembele for all the service he's given to not just Spurs, but to football as well, because he's been an immense talent. So looking forward to seeing him back at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium if and when he does come back. Hopefully it can be for something like Hugo Lloris's testimonial, which would be a special moment.